Hey, this is Shui. Welcome back to my channel. Today I've got a Halloween card for Scrappy Tails Crafts to share. I am using the Spooky Halloween Cemetery die, as well as the forest, trees, and the spooky ghost. And I do all my die cutting first off camera, and then I start with my stenciling. The Starry Night stencil has 3 layers, and I start with the solid part of the moon, and I make sure to tape that so that it's hanging off of the panel of the card. And by doing this, I am creating the illusion that there's more going on outside of the scene, and it adds interest. Then I bring in the second layer, which is the part that creates the craters of the moon, and I use the antique linen, and I apply another layer. And by applying more than one layer with dye inks, you're creating a more saturated tone. And I find that I need a little bit of a shine for the moon, so using what's left on my domed foam blender, I just create the shine of the moon, and that's going to give kind of a halo around it. Now, to continue on with my scene, I'm using peeled paint, and I'm blending that on to the bottom to create the ground or the grass. And then I bring in mowed lawn, which is a darker green. It's more saturated, and that just gives me, the illusion of multiple colors. And you can see where the peeled paint kind of peeks out the top, and that's because that's where the moon would be shining down on it. Not that I have to get a perfect blend, because I am going to cover this up. Now, to be careful about not blending into the halo of the moon, I used Prize Ribbon Distress ink, and I blend around that in a circular motion, and I bring that down all the way down to where the peeled paint or the grass would be. And you'll see that I left a little bit of a lighter tone closer to the grass, and that's just because I don't want the grass to get dark. I'm not too worried about how seamless this blend is, because I'm going to add even more color to make this a night sky. Next, I am going to bring in Villainous Potion, and I concentrate that around the edges of the card where the sky would be, and then I carefully bring that in. You're going to see that I concentrate my ink more, and that's because I want the darkness of a night sky, where right now it kind of looks like a day sky, sort of, right? But again, I have to be very careful to not go over the halo. So Scrappy Tails Crafts is a wonderful company. I highly recommend it for all of her 3D pop-up card dies. So please check it out. I am making a flat card, but Sabrina does a great job of all of her dies and all of her stamps. So please go check her out. That's Scrappy Tails Crafts. To continue with my scene, I use from a previous release the Forest Trees die, and this is actually a frame die that has like a tree going across the center. I cut out one side so that I can build the scene, and before I move on with that, I glue down the Graveyard Cemetery die, and I cut that out in gray. And then before I put down that last portion of the Graveyard Cemetery, I put down the tree. I then glue down the cemetery sentiment, and now comes the ghost. I am using the spooky ghost. She does have 2 different kinds of ghosts in this release, but I use the spooky ones because they are what they say they are. They're a little bit spooky, and I am just layering those. Typically I would use 3, but I chose an A2 card, and I thought that it would get a little crowded if I put the third one in. So in order to have a third element, I am bringing in a sign, and from brown cardstock, it's like a little bit less than a half an inch, I put down the letters that spell beware, and I'm going to put that as a sign over the cemetery entrance. Now, the red that I used on this was a little bit darker, so off camera I made this a second time, just the sign, with a brighter, like candy apple red, and that way I was able to get a brighter sign. I'm also ripping the sign to give it that spooky look. So if you wouldn't mind, I would love it if you would like, comment, and subscribe. That helps my channel grow, and most of all, I love hanging out with you. So please come back and join me again. Here are some final looks at my cards, zooming in and out. And until next time, friends, keep crafting. Be blessed. Bye-bye.